You know, in the health world, we always get excited about the latest innovation, right? The new device, the breakthrough tech.
Absolutely. The shiny new object.
But getting that tech, that amazing device from, say, a factory in Germany or China to a hospital in Bogota or Santiago, that's a whole different story.
It really is. That journey is where so many potentially great products just fizzle out.
Yeah, it's packed with pitfalls.
It's this strange market paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could have the most revolutionary medical device, but if you don't nail the entry strategy for that specific region...
It's dead on arrival.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially considering local regulations, cultural nuances, just how fragmented some of these markets are. A solid, really nuanced strategy isn't just nice to have, it's essential.
Which brings us neatly to our deep dive today. We're going to unpack IBC Group.
Yes. IDC.
They've spent, over a decade now, really honing the process of connecting global medical innovation with, specifically, the Latin American market.
Which is arguably one of the most complex dynamic growth markets out there.
Right. So our mission today is to really get under the hood, understand how they operate, and look at the vision driving them, particularly their CEO, Perla McLiberty.
Okay, so let's frame IBC Group first. Founded back in 2012. They're international, focusing on consulting, commercial representation, strategic development, essentially for medical manufacturers.
And they operate pretty widely.
Oh yeah, over 15 countries. But I think, their real power comes from their very specific focus.
They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They've carved out this niche.
Precisely. They position themselves as that crucial bridge, connecting manufacturers, often from, established hubs in Asia and Europe.
And linking them directly into LATAM.
Directly into the Latin American healthcare system. And you have to remember, LATAM isn't one single market. It's this incredibly diverse collection of economies.
Totally different rules, different buying cycles.
Different import logistics, different regulatory hurdles in almost every country. The IBC basically takes all that complexity and offers a pathway through it, a path to sustainable growth.
Okay, so let's get into that. What's their operational DNA? What are the sort of core ideas guiding how they cut through all that complexity?
Well, it boils down to three main pillars that they talk about. First is global connection. Making sure the right manufacturer meets the right local partner.
Makes sense.
Second is intelligent strategy.
Yeah.
And this is more than just like tweaking a generic plan. It's really proactive, data-heavy planning.
Okay, data-heavy. We'll come back to that. And the third?
Measurable results, which in the medical device world is everything, right? Trust, investment. It all hinges on seeing tangible, verifiable outcomes.
Okay, I want to circle back to that intelligent strategy pillar because, like you said, Latin America is huge, it's diverse. How does one company offer an intelligent strategy across all that variation?
That's a great question.
Isn't there a risk of, spreading themselves too thin or losing the scale manufacturers want?
It really speaks to the level of sophistication needed. Their intelligent strategy is all about prioritizing based on really granular, localized data.
So give me an example.
Okay, say you have a maker of high-end diagnostic gear. An intelligent strategy might mean IBC advises them, look, focus on getting sanitary registration in Peru and Colombia first.
Why there specifically?
Maybe the regulatory path is a bit clearer or there's strong public sector demand right now. It might be smarter than pouring resources immediately into, say, Brazil or Argentina, which can be historically slower or more complex.
Ah, I see. So they optimize the rollout.
Exactly. They help allocate resources smartly, preventing manufacturers from sinking huge amounts of capital into a market that might take, 5 years to show real returns. It maximizes impact, both short-term and for the long haul.
So they're acting like a sophisticated filter, almost. Not just order takers, but real growth partners helping make those tough local calls before locking in a distributor.
Precisely. They're essentially de-risking that whole international expansion process. So how do they actually do it? How does that intelligence turn into action?
Right, the practical side.
Well, they cover the whole life cycle, really, from the initial data gathering right through to commercial execution on the ground.
Okay, let's look at that first batch of services then. The groundwork, strategic planning, and market data.
Right. This kicks off with international strategic consulting. Before anyone makes a move, IBC does this really deep dive into the manufacturer's brand, its potential, its global competitiveness.
And they build a custom plan from that.
A completely custom commercial strategy, tailored to the specific legal framework, the market trends, the opportunities within each individual target country in LATAM.
And that naturally leads into the next service, right? The medical market studies. This is where the hard data comes in.
Absolutely vital. You need this for decision-making. We're talking detailed analysis, demand forecasts, who the competitors are, import potential.
And crucially,
Critically, understanding the sanitary registration requirements in each specific country. Manufacturers have got to know the real cost and the real timeline for entry, not just the best-case scenario.
yeah, that pre-analysis must save incredible amounts of time and money.
Time and capital, the two most precious resources in this game.
Okay, so planning's done, data's gathered, now moving into actually getting things done on the ground. Service Group 2, commercial presence and regulatory clearance. This is where IBC really becomes the hands and feet in the region.
Yeah, and the first part here is commercial representation. The source material really emphasizes this. They act as a direct extension of the factory.
Not just some outsourced sales team.
No, much more integrated. It means they're actively representing brands at regional trade shows, they're leading complex negotiations, and this is key, they're vetting and securing reliable, ethical distributors.
But how do they maintain that quality and commitment? Being representatives rather than the manufacturer themselves. Isn't that always a challenge with representation models?
They do it through, well, deep integration and relying heavily on their established trust network. They put a huge emphasis on consolidating relationships, not just with distributors, but with the key importers and even hospitals.
Building those long-term ties.
Exactly. So when an IBC person is negotiating in, say, Mexico City, they aren't just representing the product, they're bringing years of credibility built across maybe 15 different markets. An individual outsourced rep just can't replicate that kind of trust equity.
That trust factor sounds huge, especially when you hit those inevitable bureaucratic walls. Which brings us to what you called the regulatory nightmare earlier. Registration management and technical advisory.
This might honestly be their most critical service. The regulatory environment in LATAM is, well, famously complex, and the delays can be incredibly costly.
One wrong step and your product launch is pushed back months or years.
Easily 18 months, maybe more. Plus hundreds of thousands in cost revisions, lost sales opportunities. It's brutal.
And they navigate that whole alphabet soup of agencies.
Yeah.
ANMAT in Vima?
Precisely. ANMAT in Argentina, Vima in Colombia, DigiMed in Peru, COFEPRIS in Mexico, you name it.
Yeah.
They have this allied network specifically geared to handle compliance in each place.
That specialization must be the key.
It's the difference maker. It's what keeps a product moving towards generating revenue in a hospital instead of just sitting in customs waiting for a stamp.
Okay, so the product's registered, distributors are in place. Now the focus has to shift to actually making sales and building visibility, right? Service Group 3, market visibility and commitment.
Exactly. And this includes international marketing and sales, but again, it's more than just translating a brochure from English or German.
Right. Needs localization.
Full campaign development. Thinking about corporate visibility, targeted digital marketing, which is huge now, and of course, effective trade show strategies. That includes organizing those crucial B2B meetings, strategic positioning on platforms like LinkedIn, where decisions often start.
And you mentioned their focus on fairs and international events. They manage participation in big ones like Hospitalar in Brazil, Medica in Germany, FIME in Miami. What's different about their approach there?
It's the focus on tangible results. They don't treat a trade show just as a branding exercise, show the flag.
It needs to deliver ROI.
Absolutely. They design specific strategies before the event and follow-up plans for after. The goal is concrete, guaranteed lead generation, ideally securing signed agreements or at least very solid commitments.
Turning attendance into actual expansion.
That's the idea,
right?
Making sure the client leaves with an actionable sales pipeline, not just a bag full of business cards.
Okay, one more service. What about the manufacturer who wants that continuous presence, like having their own office in the region, but without the massive overhead of setting up shop in multiple countries?
That's where their regional representation programs come in. They often call it the LATAM hub.
LATAM hub, okay.
Essentially, IBC becomes their permanent local commercial office. They handle ongoing lead generation, all the follow-up, localized sales support.
So you get the benefits of having feet on the ground, that consistent presence, without the headache and cost of managing it all yourself across, say, 5 different countries.
Exactly. Provides that continuity and commitment.
Listening to all this, the strategy, the execution, the focus on trust, it really highlights how much this relies on the human element, on leadership.
Oh, absolutely. For a company built on trust networks like this, leadership is paramount.
And the name that keeps coming up is Perla McLiberty, the CEO.
Yes. She brings, over 15 years of experience? international trade, business development, specifically global medical representation. Her background goes back even before IBC was founded, so she has this really deep historical perspective on the market.
And the source material consistently describes her leadership style as this blend strategy. Yes, measurable results, definitely, but also empathy.
Yes, that comes through strongly.
In a sector like LATAM healthcare, which can be so relationship-driven, how does that human approach, that empathy, actually translate into a tangible business advantage?
Well, that human approach, that empathy, it is the currency of trust in many of these markets. Business, particularly big-ticket medical device deals, often gets done based on personal relationships and long-term confidence, not just the fine print.
So her style builds that confidence.
Her style, her reputation for being committed and understanding the local context, it makes her a reference point. People see her, and by extension IBC, not just as a go-between, but as a genuinely reliable long-term partner.
Which must be incredibly valuable when things get volatile.
Exactly. That trust helps build alliances that can withstand regulatory changes or economic ups and downs, which is vital when the sales cycle for some medical equipment can stretch over 2 years or more.
So that trust allows, say, a manufacturer from India or China, maybe less familiar with the region, to enter markets like Brazil or Mexico feeling confident. Knowing the person representing them understands both sides, the global manufacturing reality and the local culture.
Absolutely. Her track record shows exactly that bridging capability. She's personally spearheaded projects for brands from Europe, China, India, getting them successfully into key markets like Brazil, Mexico, Chile, Ecuador, Peru. She's not just, managing a company from afar. He's actively curating this high-value, high-trust network of opportunities. That network ensures that any distributor or hospital IBC brings into the fold has been vetted not just for their business capacity, but for their commitment and reliability too.
That idea, a network of opportunities built on reputation, really seems to capture why IBC might succeed where maybe a purely transactional approach would stumble. It's about sustainable, ethical growth.
It really is fascinating how they've managed to turn the, let's be honest, often messy promise of international expansion into something that feels predictable and results-oriented. Their mission seems crystal clear.
Which is?
Driving real sustainable growth in Latin America, specifically for those medical manufacturers who value quality and are in it for the long haul, looking for genuine partnership.
So the final takeaway for, say, a listener who runs a medical device company with global ambitions, it seems pretty clear. Breaking into LATAM isn't about just throwing marketing dollars at it.
Not at all.
It's about finding that incredibly knowledgeable, high-trust ally, having a partner like IBC Group, and especially a leader like Perla McLiberty with that deep market intelligence. It seems like that could be the difference between just landing one initial order and actually building a sustainable multi-country presence for years to come.
It really could be. And that leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you, the listener, to chew on. When we consider cracking these complex international markets, how much of the success truly boils down to just the product itself, its quality, its price, versus everything else, the sophisticated strategy, the deep regulatory know-how, the human capital required to build and maintain trust across really challenging commercial and cultural landscapes. Because what the story of IBC seems to tell us is that in this industry, lasting results aren't just improvised.
They're constructed.
Meticulously constructed.
Yeah.
Through deliberate strategy, deep knowledge, and fundamentally that network of trust. That seems to be the IBC difference.